So it was just a constant. It was just rehearsing, which is you were just beating it down until you finally felt in a place that you were comfortable enough to let go.
We ended up rewriting the whole script about 2 days before we started the actual filming take. So about day 8 of rehearsal, because we would watch it's interesting. The movie would work as a traditional movie with cuts and back and forth. But that's the one thing you have to keep in mind with the real-time film is like you were not going to be able to change anything in post.
I know.
Where any other film usually gets saved in editing.
Yeah, just a cut.
You're
like, a cut there, yeah.
Yeah, or just that take instead of this take.
Right,
and,
you build the performance.
We can cut this whole scene out, or we can rearrange these scenes or lines or whatever. We can extend this moment. And we knew that we didn't have any of that. And we just started watching the rehearsals. And by about day 4, I just knew in my gut, I'm like, originally, I don't want to give too much away about the plot, but originally it was him trying to engage her and keep her on the phone because he didn't want to be alone. And I was like, she would just hang up the phone and go back to cleaning. She's got her own stuff going on in her life that comes up in the film, and this crisis where her son hasn't come home, but she can't leave her job because she's already on thin ice, and the babysitter's getting frustrated. And we're just like, she's got her own stuff. She would just hang up. I said, this movie has to be about her and her wanting and making the decision to stay on the phone with him and trying to change. But it meant like a page 1 rewrite to go through and change. So David, who again is already in the middle of rehearsing acting for the film and in the thick of producing it with me, he and I spent an all-nighter and just cranked out a new draft that he and Sarah, the actress, had to memorize, and everybody had to make all the changes to camera movement and know the new sound cues and everything. And our sound guys we didn't have boom operators because there was just no space to put a boom mic. Mm-hmm. Or we're dealing with a college with a bunch of glass windows and glass doors and reflections everywhere. The camera reflections, mic reflections. So we decided to just double lav both of the actors, so they had two lav mics per actor, and that way if one fell off or one got distorted, we would hopefully have the other one. And to their credit, we didn't have to do a single line of ADR in post-production,
which is insane. I'm fascinated with the process that you're going through now with the actors. Sure, they memorized the script, but they didn't hit it perfectly. So you loosened up. I mean, I'm assuming they didn't hit it perfectly.
Yeah.
So they loosened things up here and there.
It's pretty spot on, but yeah, they definitely. We always had those markers because a lot of it is based on, okay, he's gonna call it here. You'll be at this point, but because she was the janitor in the college, we said, listen, if he hasn't called, put the mop down, pick up this, and go on to do this. Just act like you're in this. You're actually a janitor. Just keep finding tasks and things to do. And we do have a couple things in the take that we chose, which is our best take. There's a couple times where he tries to dial and something doesn't connect, and he's got to hang up the phone and try again. So that was our only thing in post where we were like, well, what if we just like have it that you called the wrong number or called and hesitated and hang up, and it feels like a character choice. We worked those sort of mistakes into the story of the film. I mean, honestly, we got really lucky. It's one of those things where you finish the project and you reflect on it and you're like, I don't even know how or why, how we accomplished it, or why we chose to put ourselves through that. Like,
I've been there.
Would it have changed the movie if we had a hidden cut every 10 minutes? Like for an audience perspective,
No, absolutely not.
Yeah. But we were determined to do it, and it worked, thankfully, But we knew, we had told our private investors, we had said, there's a chance that this film doesn't turn out the way it's supposed to, and we've got to make a more traditional version of it or whatever. But we managed to pull it off.
No, this is the psychotic thing that we are as filmmakers. It's just like, at the end of the day, Birdman, really, could we pull a Birdman on it? Would it really change the experience? No, but I would argue that it would change the energy of the whole movie.
I think so. I mean, Birdman had to have cuts. I mean, just
scope.
Well, especially because they change from day to night and things like that in the story. It's great. But I think, but I mean, what are we as indie filmmakers if we're not going to be ambitious and try to do things that not everybody's doing? Like, how are you ever going to stand out making a dramatic film about a another guy at wit's end trying to call a helpline. Like, we're not the first people to tell this story. We're not going to be the last people to tell this story. What can we do to set ourselves apart and try to get some attention to our careers, as well as make a movie that we really believe in, that audiences will enjoy?
Now, do you when you're done, so you're shooting the first day, you shoot the first take, you have lunch. During lunch, are you watching that to make adjustments, or are you not?
Yep. Most of the time I would load it up into Premiere, do a rough version of the split screen, because the split screen actually also rotates through the film from sort of a horizontal split to vertical split at different moments. So the cameramen need to know where to change that up to. But we would just do a very sloppy version of it so we could watch it. But yeah, we try to watch it on the lunch break, because our lunch breaks were like a couple hours. Because what happens where we were filming downtown, there's a very busy bar strip. It's kind of like Tijuana of the North, where all the underage Americans at 19 and 20 can come over and drink.
That's
so
genius.
there's a period of around like 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. where it just gets very sloppy and loud and noisy. And then because we didn't have permits to close streets and things, we were sort of just out in the wild and didn't have full control of everything. So we took an extended lunch, because we knew it would help avoid some problematic people, or people trying to like stick their face in the camera as it goes by. Not to mention when you're walking by like a $60,000 camera rig, you don't want to be doing it at 2 a.m. in a downtown somewhere.
Right.
The chances of theft or somebody just being an idiot and trying to break it are much higher than during regular business hours.
But wait a minute. But in Canada, there is no crime. Everything's perfect. Everyone's super sweet, super nice. There are no bad people there. That's just generally the marketing. Except
Moms Against. Well, you guys did have to form Moms Against Canada. I saw it documented in the South Park movie, right?
God, that was genius. Yes, that was a great.
Canada.
Blame Canada. Absolutely, blame Canada.
Yeah. As a Canadian, I saw that movie in New York with some friends on opening weekend, and just like I've never laughed harder in my entire life, because I had no idea I was walking into a South Park movie where they were going to like rip on Canada for 90 minutes.
By the way, if anyone has not seen the South Park movie, it's one to watch.
The Oscar-nominated South Park movie.
Robin Williams sung "Blame Canada" on the Oscars that year. I'll never forget it. It was
just things where you're like, this shouldn't be happening, but here we are.